What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Show. My name's AJ Gills. How y'all doing? As you can see, we're going to be talking about some old news today. Yeah, I know. I felt really bad not doing the weekly show for the past little bit. Multiple reasons, just in real life stuff is just, it's been crazy. Started my last semester of school. It's that, dealing with work stuff, and like I said, it's just been crazy. So, you know, I meant to do this video last Saturday, but yeah, again, life got in the way, and here we are on Wednesday doing this because I feel obligated to. But if you're new to this program, basically what I do, or at least I try to do, every week I bring some of the gaming stories. Maybe we'll watch a video here or there, and we just sit here and we talk video game news. You know, I love video games. I love talking about the news and all that. I give you guys my takes on articles and all that, and that's generally what we do. Down in the description below, there are links to every story along with a list of timestamps. So if you want to skip a story, it might not interest you, you can skip on to the next one and all that. And like I said, there's also links so you can go check out either the videos or the articles or everything without me sitting here running my mouth. Please let me know what you thought about any of the articles that we talked, any article that I might have missed that you're like, hey, this is interesting, check this out. You can send me that stuff in the comments, along with in the description there's all the social media. I think that hits everything on the head. As I said, this is all old news, but I still feel like some of this is still pretty interesting. So we're gonna start off with an article here on Engadget that EA's open world Star Wars game is no more. This was from the 16th of this month by Saqib Shah. Hopefully I have that correctly, or I have that pronounced correctly. Article reads, remember EA's open-world Star Wars game that promised bounty hunting across the series universe? Anyone? No, doesn't matter. It's been scrapped. EA Vancouver has canceled the project, reports Kotaku, which it inherited in 2017 after shutting down its subsidiary and the title's original developer, Visceral Games, of the Dead Space franchise. Honestly, I was calling this, and we'll get this in this next paragraph, because right here, as soon as Amy Hennig left this project, I was sitting here going, this is either not going to happen, or this is going to suck. I'm not sure if I'm more happy that it's not happening, but I really wish Amy Hennig was still, we got to see her game, because what she pitched was kind of an Uncharted style sort of linear shooter, but in the Star Wars world. I think it could work. I think it would be a lot of fun. I'd love to play it. For some reason, it reminds me of the game Star Wars Bounty Hunter, if anybody remembers that game. Oh, God, I love that game. I played that way too much when I was a kid. Let's just all agree, the PS2 was amazing. Either way, back on track. Back then, it was an entirely different beast. Originally codenamed Ragtag, the game boasted a linear action venture setup with Uncharted director Amy Hennig at the helm. EA Vancouver rebooted it, keeping some of the art assets and adding in the open world element. And I quote, it has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we needed to pivot the design, end quote, the company declared at the time. And see, this is something that's been brought up in game design a lot nowadays. And look, I love open world games. I love action adventure games. I love role-playing games. I'm not going to fault somebody for making a game open world. And I would love to play an open world Star Wars game, similar to Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know why that was not coming to me that quickly. And also, dear God, please make another KOTOR game. Either way, moving on to what I was to this actual subject. But I find it very odd that developers have this idea that these linear style games can't work. I mean, I'd argue one of the best games in recent memory was Uncharted 4. Yeah, maybe you could argue. I mean, there's some more open world, not open world, more sandboxy elements here and there. But all in all, Uncharted 4 was a linear experience, and I would, again, argue one of the best games in recent memory. I loved the crap out of that game, just like I love the Uncharted franchise. I love that linear shooter style of game. I mean, I can't wait for Gears 5. I hope it still maintains that sort of linear dude bro style shooter. I don't think I think companies are more what's the term? Not hedging their bets. They're afraid of this for some reason. They're afraid of making a game that has a linear story, and I kind of understand why. It's like they say, it's to keep people coming back for more and more, a long time to come. Basically, what that means is we want people to keep coming back, buying DLC and buying currency in the game. I mean, right? You can see right here, EA stopped selling FIFA currency in Belgium due to loot box law. Actually, I got to read that article because I just caught that. That's just a totally different topic, but same kind of concept that I'm getting at here. This is something that developers are really getting into now because they're trying to make up their money after sales. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, that's sickening. I know, like, a lot of people don't like companies trying to double dip and, try and grab money after it's been released. I get it from a business standpoint. I understand it. But at the same time, if all you're doing are these heartless open world games, which I have a feeling this is what it is. This is what this would be. Because I feel like this is them taking an idea, shoehorning in an open world element, trying to then sell us power-ups, and here's an online component, and here's they're going to do, they were going to do to it what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda. And now I'm not saying that the development process was the same. There was a lot of issues with the development process of Andromeda, most of the fact that it was rushed and a few other things. But that's what I'm getting at. It becomes so far away from what the original concept of the franchise is, or in this case, the original idea. It loses some of its heart and becomes kind of just a soulless shell. And I think that's what these companies are doing. I hope I'm not rambling and making zero sense, but yeah, that's just how I see it. I think these companies are afraid to do these more linear games, but it's not even afraid that they're not going to do well in actual sales, because I think, like I said, an Amy Hennig helmed linear action adventure Star Wars shooter could work. I think the big issue would be when you shoehorn in the online element, when you shoehorn in an open world element, when you shoehorn in all these sales after the fact. That's where the issue lies, and it's one of the worst parts of the industry right now, in my opinion. Either way, moving on. I'm sorry, I rambled. The game's demise marks the latest in a long line of missteps for EA's Star Wars output. The first Star Wars Battlefront was bashed for its meager content and lack of single-player campaign. Yup. Its follow-up fared even worse over its use of game-changing loot boxes. Well, and again, I argue that it wasn't the loot boxes' fault. It was how they... I'm trying to think how I want to put this. It was how they used the loot boxes. The fact that you want to make loot boxes essential to progression, that's a terrible idea. And what I mean by that is, yes, you can get them for free, and because I always saw on Twitter somebody saying, "Oh, well, I spent no extra money on Star Wars, and here I am, topping the leaderboards or whatever." And I'm sitting here going, "Well, yeah, but what kind of drops did you get in your free loot boxes? If you get shit drops in your free loot boxes, you couldn't compete in that game." That was the problem. The fact that loot boxes were entirely necessary for progression, but the fact that you had a better chance if you bought more of them as opposed to using the free ones. That was the issue with that game. It wasn't the loot boxes themselves necessarily. Was it an open world romp through the Star Wars universe may have helped EA course correct, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. I think EA's biggest problem. I'll finish this up before I go into my thing on EA. For those still hankering for more galactic action, it seems EA is working on a smaller scale Star Wars project due in late 2020, according to Kotaku. And Titanfall studio Respawn is also planning to release Jedi Fallen Order in the fall. Now on to what I was about to say. I think EA's biggest problem is the fact that I think EA works very well with sports games and as a publisher. Stay out of the freaking development. I think that's what EA's biggest thing is. I think I'm trying to think how to put this. It's almost like everything that EA has more of a hand in developing, and like this game, like it's getting shoved around to multiple EA studios. If they would, oops. Thank you, Rob. If they would have kept this with one studio at Visceral, and I get it, the company, it shutters. I get it. It's going to get pushed around after you close an original developer, but they're working on a title like this, and you just shut down the studio. You move it around to multiple different development teams. You get rid of the original game director. You take the concept and you throw it around. Of course, the game, even if the game came out, of course it's not going to be good. What's the concept? Too many cooks. Too many cooks in the kitchen spoil the broth. That's what it is. I think EA has a habit of trying to get too involved with these things instead of letting their individual development studios work. Again, I'll go to Mass Effect Andromeda. I think that game could have been way better, but I think EA was trying to push a release date. EA was trying to do this. They were trying to do that. I think if they let BioWare truly work, they could have come out with something good. I mean, and again, I think recently BioWare hasn't had... I mean, say what you want about BioWare for, how they throw politics in games. Look, that's not what I'm going to be talking about here. But I think BioWare, again, I go back to Dragon Age Inquisition. I thought Inquisition was great. I loved the game. I enjoyed Dragon Age 2. I know, that's sacrilege. But I also, I've enjoyed the Dragon Age series 1, 2, and Inquisition. I'm going to be honest. I enjoyed all of them. Different reasons, but I enjoyed them. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. I think BioWare really has almost lost so much appeal in the public eye because of Andromeda and because they have this connection to EA. And again, I think if EA just focuses on being a publisher and doing EA Sports, I honestly think that we'd see a lot better games. Because I got no problem with EA as a company. I know a lot of people really have a big issue with EA, but I think it's because of because of just the public perception of loot boxes and everything. And again, it's what happens when EA gets so involved with things. Looking at you, Battlefield 5, Patrick Sutherland. God damn it. Sorry, I've rambled enough, and just I've probably confused everyone. It's as I've said before, it's what I do. What's the Daniel Tosh joke? I sit up here, I start with a joke that everyone can relate to, then I keep talking till only about 3 people have a clue what the fuck I'm talking about. That's kind of where we are. All right, moving on to an article on Game Informer by Andrew Reiner. A Plague Tale Innocence launches this May. Now, this game, since I have seen it, I have been more and more. I've been drawn to it more and more. I've been interested in it more and more, and I can't really tell why. There's something about it. Something about the kind of art style. I like the dark tone. The idea of the main character and her brother, how you control one, the other one's sort of computer controlled, but you lead the computer AI. Again, the concept is very simple, but I really like the idea of I really like the idea of this game, and I can't really kind of put it into words of why it has drawn me in so much. But this is gonna be a short article, but I felt like this. I wanted to talk about this because I've really been fascinated by this game. Set in 14th century France, A Plague Tale Innocence follows 2 siblings fight for survival against the army of the Inquisition and rats carrying Black Death. This story is seen through the eyes of a teenage girl named Amicia, who is tasked to keep a watchful eye on her brother. The gameplay pushes the player to keep the dangers at bay however possible, and to duck into the shadows for stealth when the odds are overwhelming. Developer Asobo Studios today announced that The Dark Journey arrives on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC on May 14th. Along with its release day, Asobo launched the first episode of a new web series that provides developer insight into the creation of the unique title and what players can expect from it. This first episode shows you just how serious of a threat the rats are as they consume a pig in no time flat. Yeah, again, it's just I think this is just a unique time period to deal with, dealing with the Black Death, the fact that you're 2 kids in this time, you're not a grown adult soldier. So you have to use stealth and brains. You have to avoid the rats, and I think there was, I want to say it was Gamescom or TGS. I can't remember which one. I think it was Gamescom, or was it E3? God damn it, I can't remember anymore. And that was only like 5 months ago. My memory's getting worse. Where we saw the brother and sister go across the aftermath of a battlefield. So you had to deal with the rats and play with the fire to get the rats to spread. You were going up and down in siege equipment. Just a great concept and tone. I'm very excited for this game, and I honestly I can't wait. So you're moving on. We got an article on IGN. Most of these are going to be IGN articles. Cyberpunk 2077 head writer joins Blizzard. Article by Adam Bankhurst of IGN. Off the face of it, this doesn't worry me. I actually talked with a few people in real life about this stuff when I first saw this news, and I was just kind of sitting there reading on Twitter, going, "Huh, this is interesting." And somebody went, "What's going on here?" And I kind of sat and went, well, I don't think this is somebody just bailing on the project. I think this is our job is pretty much done, so I'm going to go do another project, or I'm going to leave the company and I'm going to go join another company. I mean, this stuff kind of happens throughout development this sort of happens throughout development, or at least I've seen this happen during development, where people will leave positions and go to a totally different company to work on a different project over there. So now that maybe the script's been more solidified, the head writer can kind of bail and go do his own stuff and kind of leave it more to a staff team of writers at CD Projekt. Again, at least that's my guess as to what's happening, and I also think it gives us an idea that Cyberpunk 2077 is actually really getting along well in development. It's not stuck early on in the concept stage. I still say, I think it's very possible that we see this game this year. I think it's possible we see Cyberpunk 2077 in 2019. I mean, there's been a lot of evidence to show us that it's going to be this year. I still argue that 2020 is, I would argue, just as likely, but either way, I'm sorry. God damn, I cannot stay on a solid train of thought today. Sebastian Steppin, who was the head writer for Cyberpunk 2077, was one of the 3 creative directors for The Witcher 3 at CD Projekt Red, has joined Blizzard Entertainment, as reported by PC Gamer. Steppin's LinkedIn profile confirms that he is now a creative director at Blizzard. After working at CD Projekt Red since 2006, Sebastian worked on the entire Witcher trilogy and was creative director of The Witcher 3 with Konrad holy crap, that's a name, Tomaskiewicz and why? Who thought the SZ sound would be good to get? Those guys. His leaving CD Projekt Red may indicate that his work was mostly complete on Cyberpunk 2077, which lines up with the comment back in August of last year by one of CD Projekt's producers, Richard Borzymowski, who said that while the beginning of the game is missing assets and has bugs, the game can be played from beginning to end, and that the story is in place. While that may sound promising, there is still no release date or window for Cyberpunk 2077, but CD Projekt Red did say it will be targeting current-gen consoles. As for what Steppin could be working on at Blizzard is anyone's guess, but there is always a chance that he'll be working on whatever the next mainline Diablo is, which is reportedly under development under codename Fenris. Blizzard held its annual BlizzCon conference last November, announced a new Diablo mobile game. Oh yeah, I remember that when that first came out. Weren't people really pissed at that when they announced a new Diablo game? Because they were hyping it up. Like, ooh, the next Diablo game. It's on your phone. And yeah, I remember people getting really pissed about that. It was pretty funny. So, as somebody who really didn't play Diablo, I think that's funny. No, final thoughts on this. Like I said, I think the assumption that his work on this project was pretty much done, and that's why he left the company. I agree with that. Indefinitely, this game is definitely coming out either. I would say we're going to see this game next year, at the latest end of next year, earliest end of this year is when I'd say we see Cyberpunk 2077. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up, and I can't remember what the hell it was. All right, I also expect them to double dip with this game. I expect to see we're going to get Cyberpunk 2077 in this generation, and then they're going to do a re-release similar to, I've been saying this for a while, similar to what Rockstar did with GTA 5. And speaking of Rockstar, well, I guess not Rockstar, but it's its publisher, as this article takes a little bit to load. There we go. Red Dead Redemption 2 publisher suing over Pinkerton use. Article, Adam Bankhurst, IGN. Take-Two Interactive, publisher of Red Dead Redemption 2, is in a legal battle with the security company Pinkerton over the use of characters Andrew Milton and Edgar Ross, two Pinkerton agents featured in Rockstar's latest title. As reported by The Verge, this all began when Pinkerton Consulting and Investigation sent Take-Two a cease and desist letter over the previously mentioned characters in December. Pinkerton appreciated Rockstar's clear affection for Pinkerton, but felt the developer was, and I quote, creating a false impression that the game was made by or connected with Pinkerton, end quote, which it is not, and it is demanding Take-Two, and I quote, pay either a lump sum or ongoing royalties, end quote. I highly doubt the ongoing royalties is going to be a thing. Take-Two, in response, is suing Pinkerton in return and claiming that characters are within the protection of the First Amendment and are requesting that the characters to be, and I quote, declared fair use, arguing they are part of Red Dead Redemption's 2 detailed historical setting, end quote. Take-Two further explains that the Pinkerton National Detective Agency appears in other Western fiction, and that the agency, and I quote, played a major role in real 19th and early 20th century American history, end quote. As The Verge states, Pinkerton agents appear in such other media as Deadwood, The Long Riders, and Bioshock Infinite, where main character Booker DeWitt was a former Pinkerton agent. I'm going to throw out another Western game that Pinkerton was involved in, and that was Hard West. Yeah, game that only I would remember because I like that game. The complaint accuses Pinkerton of trying to capitalize on the success of Red Dead Redemption 2, that's my guess, which has already sold over 17 million copies. This is hardly the first legal battle Take-Two has partaken in, as it also found itself in hot water when Lindsay Lohan filed a 67-page complaint. That was great, by the way. The whole thing about Lindsay Lohan suing Rockstar, god damn it, that was great. No, all in all, I think Rockstar's, if this goes to court and isn't settled out, I think Rockstar's, even if Rockstar's counterclaim doesn't, go through or anything, I argue, I don't think they're going to have to pay anything to Pinkertons. I think they're right. I think this is again, this is coming from somebody who does not have a law degree. This is not coming from somebody who, anything like that. This is just from me reading the article and having a very limited understanding of the law and how I'm reading the article too. So I want that stated. How it reads to me is that Pinkerton is upset that, is trying to, again, like they said, capitalize on the success of RDR2. I honestly think that's what's going on here. The fact that they used the concept of Pinkerton in the historical context, as opposed to suing over the use of the characters Andrew Milton and Edgar Ross, I don't think that don't sue over the characters. Maybe sue over the concept that your company's name is being used. But even then, the fact that it was being used in a traditional historical context in a piece of art, the First Amendment would technically apply. So. It's, it's one of those that I kind of sit here and go, I think you might have a case, but suing over the characters, I don't, again, if I am understanding this correctly, suing over the characters is, it won't do any good. There's something else, faction clear, false impression that the game was made by, there's something else. I don't think at all that they created a false impression that the game was made by or connected with the Pinkertons. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form that this company, that Take-Two or Rockstar or anything, did anything, that they made us think that Pinkerton had anything to do with it. In all honesty, I didn't even know that Pinkerton was still around. I honestly didn't. So yeah, from my layman's perspective and from just sitting here, I can say, yeah, I think this is another one of somebody just trying to sue Take-Two or Rockstar, and they're gonna get bitch slapped for it. If not bitch slapped, they're gonna be made to look like idiots. I guess continuing on with funny pseudo legal news. We have an article here, also of IGN, of Fortnite. Orange Shirt Kid's mom joins ranks of people suing Epic over dances. Article Shabana Arif of IGN. So, this is something that I honestly I do not know Orange Shirt Kid. I am not going to lie. Somebody, sue me for being a filthy normie. I don't know the internet. But there was a very good video on the YouTube channel Legal Eagle. If you haven't checked it out, I suggest he does like legal reviews of like the show Suits and For the People, How to Get Away with Murder. Like he'll watch like an episode of of a TV show and will say. And we'll go into like legal precedent or whatever of what they're talking about in the show. He is a lawyer. It's a really good channel. And at one point he broke down this whole, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was over the Carlton dance. It might have been the Carlton dance that he broke down the whole concept of suing over copyright when it comes to dances. It's a complicated thing that I'm not going to go into, but. Either way, Rachel McCumbers, the mother of young Fortnite player who submitted a dance for Epic's Boogie Down competition last year, is now suing the developer for including her son's dance in the game. Orange Shirt Kid, as he became known to the internet, didn't actually win the contest but placed 23rd in the list of runner-ups. However, his video garnered over 1 million views, and a petition soon popped up requesting that Epic crown him the winner instead. There was even a Twitter hashtag, Justice for Orange Shirt Kid, all of which eventually led to the emote making its way into the game under the name Orange Justice. Opposed to the actual name of The Random, the emote is also featured a quote from the original video submission as its description. It's also a great exercise move. Variety reported the lawsuit contains no reference to the Boogie Down contest or the boy's tweets in which he submitted the dance, which have reportedly now been deleted. Instead, the lawsuit notes that Epic has been exploiting Orange Shirt Kid's dance move and unfairly profiting from his, and I quote, protected creative expression, likeness, and trademark without consent or authorization, end quote. It states that, and I quote, like selling a cheap knockoff, defendant sold the random dance in-game and simply rename it to Orange Justice, end quote. The lawsuit also references, and I quote, the dance and movements, end quote, Epic has copied from other performers who are also suing the studio, including Backpack Kid, the Fresh Prince's, I can't speak, the Fresh Prince's Alfonso Ribeiro, Scrubs Donald Faison, and rapper Millie. Orange Shirt Kid is currently in the process of copywriting his dance and is seeking damages, including, and I quote, attorney's fees and any profits, end quote, Epic has made from the dance. Pierce, Bainbridge, Beck, Price, and Hecht LLP are representing Orange Shirt Kid, in addition to the list of other performers who are also suing Epic Games over the emotes. Okay. This is a much... If you want a true legal breakdown of how copywriting something like a dance, how to copyright anything like that, if you want to actually dig into how any of that works, go, like I said, check out Legal Eagle's video. He breaks down the law and the precedent and everything. From where I sit here in how this reads to me as a layman, I don't know who I side with here. I'm interested to see how this one kind of breaks down. I actually can kind of see how both sides have a claim to this. I get it. The kid made the dance and all this, but he also submitted it to a contest run by Epic for this, for this game. Multiple people petitioned Epic to bring the game into Fortnite. They did. I'm not entirely sure how this one's going to break down, in all honesty. Like I said, I think Epic has a claim here saying, look, he submitted it to us under a competition that, we made, yada, yada, yada. We ended up using it. I think that there's something there. I think the kid does have a point. He did make the dance. Should he, should he get some sort of compensation for that? I think that's a very interesting question. And again, then it all comes down to the fact that he's currently in the process of copywriting it. It has not been copyrighted. It was not copyrighted before he sued. I think that this is going to be a really interesting kind of, maybe a precedent. I think this whole thing is going to be a precedent setting lawsuit. I mean, not just Orange Shirt Kid, but I'm talking, like the Carlton thing, all these dances that have been in Fortnite. I'm interested to see where all this stuff goes somewhere down the line. And if it ends with Fortnite getting shut down, you know what? More happiness for AJ. I do not like Fortnite. All right, moving on to stuff that I can actually talk about. That's not the law. Next article, The Division 2 Dark Zone and PvP detailed. Article Colin Stevens, IGN. Ubisoft has detailed how Dark Zones and PvP will work in The Division 2. Announced through Ubisoft's official website, the Dark Zone is back, except this time there are three distinct Dark Zones. In them, players will begin hunting enemy factions in unique neighborhoods of Washington, D.C. However, players can go rogue, turn on their teammates in order to secure some powerful loot, and should they choose to do so. Okay, again, very similar to the first game, the concept that there's going to be 3 individual Dark Zones kind of makes me ask the question, are they all going to be the same size as the original? Are they going to all be smaller, try and make it a lot more compact? But I think all in all, I think Dark Zone will remain mostly the same. I can see that they're going to make some small changes, but all in all, I think keeping it the same because I think the idea of the Dark Zone was actually really good. It was one of the standout features, in my opinion, of the Division, the original Division. So as far as the Division 2 goes, I think that they're going to go with a bigger map in Washington, D.C., and I think that the individual Dark Zones, I think, can work. I'm just interested to see exactly how it is going to be implemented. So here, you can go rogue by breaking into locked chests or stealing the entirety of a Dark Zone drop, though this will reveal an indicator to former teammates that you've gone rogue. And you will be susceptible to their attacks. You can take out another player and become a disavowed rogue, making your red rogue icon more visible to other players. Keep killing fellow agents, and you'll go manhunt rogue, which alerts all players to your presence, and a major bounty will be put in your head. Okay, again, like I said, it's similar. Maybe not exactly how the original Division's Dark Zone worked, pretty similar. Once rogue, much of the loot you steal won't be clean, meaning you can't immediately equip or sell it. To clean this loot, you'll have to reach a designated area to signal an extraction helicopter, which you will protect until it flies away with your loot. This puts you in danger as former teammates attempt to stop you, but if you manage to protect the helicopter and secure the loot, you'll be rewarded. And with particularly strong equipment, some loot, however, will automatically be clean when you find it. To clear your rogue status, you can let your timer expire after not performing rogue actions for a while, hack a manhunt terminal, that's interesting, or keep doing shady rogue stuff until you unlock the Thieves' Den. This is a secret area in each Dark Zone that gives players access to a special vendor with powerful items. Furthermore, reaching the Thieves' Den wipes your rogue status and lets you play as a normal player, as if you didn't just pillage and murder your way to riches. See, now that's interesting. Having the Thieves' Den and all that, how it's available to how they have the secret area for people who go rogue. So it almost... It's what I liked about the first game was the fact that you can never really trust somebody to just start shooting you in the back. It was always interesting to see somebody just start going rogue and just start, like I said, just immediately just start shooting you in the back to steal your loot. I always liked the concept, but this is really interesting where it's not just about the loot. It's maybe you want to go rogue to find the Thieves' Den. It's giving you more and more incentive to shoot your friends in the back, as opposed to the first one, which was just always that feeling. And this one, it's almost encouraged. I like that idea because it's going to give the Dark Zones just give you that sort of extra bit of fear within the Dark Zone. I like it. Let's see here. Most Dark Zones will be normalized, meaning players with wildly different stats will be brought to a more narrow range. Though this balances most Dark Zone encounters, players who reach the endgame can enter occupied Dark Zones, which removes normalization and requires players to invest in the best gear they can find. In occupied Dark Zones, players can't see who is and isn't rogue. Ooh. Friendly fire will always be enabled. On the flip side, these more dangerous Dark Zones hold better. Okay, that's, again, I'm liking this concept. Lastly, there's an organized PvP mode called Conflict, which 3 custom map modes and 2 modes set the players up to take each other on using skill-based matchmaking. The 2 modes are Skirmish, a team deathmatch, and Domination, a King of the Hill style mode, where you battle for control of strategic points. Conflict is also normalized, so skill will be more important than simply finding gear with exceptionally high stats. For even more blah blah, all that stuff. No, I think this is a great move on Ubisoft's part. Like I said, I think the overall concept of the Dark Zones is still staying the same, but I like this. I'm trying to think how to put this. I like how it's like I said, they're giving you more incentive to go rogue. So again, you're always watching your back. It kind of adds a little bit of a. I'm trying to think of the word here. It adds more tension to the moments. I like the idea that we're seeing them go more towards this more narrow sort of matchmaking. So I'm not running into the Dark Zone and just getting taken out by people who are 20 levels ahead of me. So I can actually build up my skills in the Dark Zone and then move on to one that has no level scaling. There we go. That's, for lack of a better word, let's go with that. I like that idea. I like that there's going to be like an actual like PvP mode. It just seems like it's giving us a lot more options in this one than the first game had. I think I'm kind of like Anthem. The Division 2 is one of those games that I'm maybe not sitting here like on the edge of my seat excited for, but the closer and closer it gets, I gotta say I'm more intrigued by it. Granted, Anthem did kind of botch its beta, but I don't know. I didn't play it. All I've heard from people is that people have been a little bit underwhelmed. But I don't know. We'll see how it is when the game actually comes out. All right, moving on to the next article. GameStop buyout expected to be finalized next month. Shabana RF IGN. Now, this is the final article before we actually get into a video. Kind of makes me sad. Maybe not sad, because I guess GameStop will still be around. But yeah, I love GameStop. I'm not gonna lie. Granted, I'm always trying to be sold something whenever I go in there. Yada yada yada. But I still love the feel of having a physical game in my hand. It's just, I love it. So here, GameStop's murky future may be getting brighter following the retailer's report of a third quarter loss over $488 million in November last year. It seems like the company might be getting a much-needed helping hand with rumors of a buyout expected to be completed by the end of February 2019. And now you can also ask me why I'm sitting here going, it kind of makes me sad. It's just, it always makes me scared when a company changes hands like this. It's just like when every time that Vivendi tries to take over Ubisoft, I always kind of go, oh God, no. Because actually, I like Ubisoft under the controls of the Guillemot, but it makes me scared what Vivendi would do with Ubisoft. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at here. According to the Wall Street Journal via MCV, 2 companies are currently vying for the high street store. Sycamore Partners and Apollo Global Management. All 3 companies. God damn it! All 3 companies declined to comment when WSJ reached out to them. Despite last year's reported loss, sales of the new hardware were up, and COO Rob Lloyd stated that overall the company had experienced growth in the third quarter. Lloyd credited software sales from high-selling game titles like RDR2, Marvel Spider-Man for much of this. Red Dead Redemption 2 was certainly a boon for Rockstar. Why are they talking about? All in all, no, I've said this for the longest time. I know that brick and mortar stores are on the way out. They're dying. It still makes me sad, but I don't know. I still hope that GameStop can stick around in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, that's, like I said, that really wasn't an article that I wanted to sit and analyze too much. I just kind of wanted to cover it before we move on to the video. Either way, we're going to move on to the video, and yeah. Alright guys, we're going to hop into the last thing we have on the docket for this video, and this is 10 minutes of gameplay for Atomic Heart. This is on the, this is done by IGN. I believe the description for this described this game as BioShock on acid. In all honesty, I never heard of this game. I for some reason this thing has totally slipped my radar. Like, I've kind of skimmed through this video. It looks sweet to me. I mean, kind of looks like reminds me of Rage. Reminds me of just a lot of the sort of like those sort of open world styled games. I don't know. Let's hop into this. Like I said, I really don't know much of anything about this game, so let's. That first thing was absolutely terrifying. Looked like the Yeti. Okay, now that's kind of creeping me out. A bunch of chickens. Okay, so this is pre-alpha. It's like I said. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Rage in a way. Kind of like Rage with Biomutant and Metro kind of thrown in there. Maybe some Fallout. Okay, so you can see we can mark targets. Weird robot things. Wait, those look like... The F was that? Like a robot baby? You see those things up in the air? Like, they kind of look like weird fish swimming in the sky. No, that's not what they are. You can't tell what the hell it is. What the What is this? I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here and just asking stupid questions. This is freaky. Okay, so there's some sort of foraging element. I mean, either we can smoke, or I'm gonna guess that that's a no, there's some sort of mechanical thing. It kind of looks like a giant drone. So I mean, okay, so there's gonna be like an upgrade system for your equipment. But yeah, I mean, what was I saying? Yeah, you find cigarettes and you put it in your backpack. So I'm assuming it's gonna be a kind of a scavenging slash. Oh, well, unless it's a crafting system, but I have a feeling it's just scavenging for stuff to sell at maybe a settlement. Oh, it's a carabiner. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's... Holy shit! That was absolutely horrifying. Okay, so I take it that this takes place in Russia. Given that sign with the backwards letter. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is Russia. Okay. Okay. So apparently the cigarettes can be used. But why? What the fuck is this? Dun dun. Dun dun. Boom boom. Idiot. Oh god.
Да отъебись ты! Пошел нахуй! Тупая скотина!
Okay, so clearly this is a world that has been taken over by the machines. And they don't like humans. It's not one of those they're going to capture them and use them for something. It's they're going to capture the humans and kill them. Oh, gross. Jeez, we're almost halfway through this. And I have learned very little to nothing in this. What is with the weird mustaches? Ah, it's Russia, never mind.
Давай, иди сюда, сука! На!
Come on, if you've never played Skyrim, you swing and then run away. Swing, then run away. At least that's how I play Skyrim. Oh, yeah, that's not absolutely terrifying. Come on, pull out that shotgun. I want to see it used. There was a weapon next to that guy. What the hell? Yeah, it had the shiny flash of a weapon. Oh, really? You don't want to go down the mystery hole in the ground? Really? Shocking. Kind of hoping that he would have jumped. The person playing would have jumped on that and tried to ride it. Actually, I put money that would actually kill you. Yeah, the one's coming behind you. You might want to. Yeah, there you go. Move over to your left. I'm still just trying to get a grip on what the hell this is. I mean, I kind of see the where people would call this Bioshock-ish. Yet, in all honesty, I see more Fallout. More, like I said, like Fallout, Rage, those sort of first-person action-adventure style games. Is that a chicken sitting there on the ground? Yeah, it's healthy. You gotta admit that robot had some sick ground and pound game. That sentence made no sense. So again, I'm getting the vibe if it moves and is a robot, shoot it. I guess not. Don't shoot those chickens. I don't know. Maybe you can shoot the chickens. I'd try. See, I love how that's the suggested video is Atomic Heart. What is this game? I mean, again, it's like I've been saying all the way through. I mean, we can kind of get... What the... Oh, that's awesome. Okay. I mean, we can get bits and pieces of an idea of what this game is, but what the fuck? I I've never heard of this game up until this point. I kind of, like I said, I kind of skimmed this video. I didn't actually sit and watch it. Gotta say, I'm definitely interested. God, how the hell do you end things after that? All right, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry if this show has seemed a little all over the place. It seemed like I haven't been able to string a coherent thought together. That has just been my life recently, and I apologize for that. Hopefully things will be back up and running, and I can do an actual show on Saturday. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this, just sitting around and just listening to me yak. Thank you for watching. As always, Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Please go and go to any of the links down below. Support these outlets. They're the people who do the real journalism. I'm just some guy who sits here, reads articles, and gives my opinion and talks to a camera. Well, I guess not a camera, but to a microphone. You know what I mean. So, yeah, that's going back to it, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, my name's AJ Gales. This is Home Game Channel. I'm out.